Welcome to my Wednesday live stream. My name is Elizabeth, and I am the owner, designer, creator of the Etsy shop Old School and Eclectic. This is my YouTube channel where I share some of the things I'm making and doing and dispersing my knowledge to other people. Today, I did a poll yesterday on Instagram and on Facebook asking people what they thought that the topic of this stream should be. And unfortunately, the universe said that I needed to decide for myself because it was an exact even split, which gave me no information. This is Winston, by the way, and he really wants to play. And he thinks that this is his time to play because I'm sitting on the floor. So I decided that we are going to combine a couple of my ideas where I'm going to do an unboxing of some of my craft supplies as well as talk about the things you need to do to get ready for creating a temperature blanket. All right, let me grab my notes here. Hi, buddy. Okay, so when it comes to starting a temperature blanket, you first need to know what method you're going to use to create your temperature blanket. Are you going to be crocheting it? Are you going to be knitting it? Holy cow, words. Are you going to make a quilt from various colors of fabric? Like, what is your creation method going to be? Sorry, I'm going to give some background on what I am unboxing here. So this is a Fisker's tote. My little sister got it from someone for free, and then she has basically removed from it things that she uses and her kids use, and has since passed it on to me with what's left to see what I will use. So she got it for free. She passed it on to me for free. I have no idea how much it's worth, but the card right here, this is one of my business cards. Hi, buddy. Winston's wanting all the love and attention right now. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Say hi to the people. He's like, I don't care. He's upset because Papa wasn't home last night, and so he thinks his world is ending. So he wants all the attention to make up for it. So like I said, I got this for my sister for free because she got it from someone else for free, and so I'm going to be going through what's in here. To my knowledge, it's mostly just containers and binders and stuff, so it's not all that exciting, which is why I'm kind of multitasking what I'm going to be talking about. So, here, with temperature blankets, you need to decide what your creation is going to be. Like, are you going to crochet something? Are you going to knit it? Are you going to possibly quilt it? Are you going to use some other technique that you know for creating? Are you even going to make a blanket? You don't have to make a blanket. Let's see here. I've seen, of course, the most common thing to do is to make a blanket. But I've also seen people make temperature scarves, temperature snake plushies where they do a ring around the snake, amigurumi style, for each temperature range that they do. And then they just make it longer and longer and longer for however long they wanted to cover their temperatures. The average time that people do their temperature blankets for is about a year. My temperature blanket, this one, covers about 13 months, but that's what fit with the pattern that I wanted to do. So if you're hearing squeaking, it's his toy. It's him wanting attention again. So what do you want to make? Do you want to make a blanket? Do you want to make a scarf, which is going to be like Doctor Who length if you're not careful? Got carrying straps. Do you want to do a plushy snake? Do you want to create your own kind of thing? You want to do a temperature shawl? Or any other project. It could be literally anything where you're doing rows or sections of something and you're doing a couple hundred of them. Let's see here. I have a list, so I'm carefully checking off each thing as I talk about it so I don't keep talking about the same thing over and over again, but I also don't forget anything. You need to decide. Let's see here. Let's go. What period of time do you want to cover? The original tag for this. More straps still in packaging. So what period of time do you want to cover? Do you want to cover the first year you live somewhere? Do you want to cover the first year of your marriage, first year of your child's life, the first year that you had your dog? Like, what do you want to depict? And while a year is the most common length of time that you make these for, you don't have to do a full year. You could do the first month or any specific month, or the pattern of what the temperature on your birthday has been in a certain location since you were born. It doesn't matter. Like, you can pick whatever you want. You just need to decide what time period, because you obviously you're going to be depicting the temperatures of a certain location for a certain amount of time or from a certain period of time. And so you need to decide what is that period of time. For me, on this blanket, I decided to go with the first year that my husband and I lived here in St. Louis. Because I really liked it here. I've been very, very happy living here. And so I wanted to commemorate that. Like I said, it can literally be any time period. You just need to decide on what that time representation is going to be. So you need to decide what method you're going to be doing. Are you going to be crocheting, knitting, quilting maybe? What are you going to be doing to be able to make your item, your temperature item? What do you want? You have to decide what you want to make. Do you want to make a blanket? Do you want to make a scarf? Do you want to make some sort of like plushie where you're doing each row represents your time? You're then also going to want to decide on a location. Like I said, you have to If this is a temperature item, you're obviously going to need to have a location for what temperatures you're going to be representing. So for me, my location was St. Louis, or more specifically the town that I'm in, but that's near St. Louis, but that's not public info. There's a whole bunch of I don't know if they're stickers or if they're just cardboard cutout words. I know that's a sticker because it says it. I really don't know what is in here. Like I have a vague idea because my sister showed me like some of the items that are like the bigger items in the bin, but these I had no idea about. So that says Winter Wonderland. Oh, it says Merry Christmas. I'm so sorry about the lighting. It's really bad today. Let It Snow. These are all like iridescent, shiny things. I actually have a room that I've been wanting to do all my live streams in. I just haven't had an opportunity to get it set up properly. It's been my library where all my books are, and I have a really comfy chair in there, and it's just a really pretty room, and I love it. It has really, really good lighting from the sun in the mornings. But it's currently kind of taken over by a couple things in my husband's that we're still trying to figure out. So I don't currently have full access to my room, but hopefully in my future live streams, I'll be able to move into there because it's so much nicer and the background will be nicer and the lighting will be so much better. So I'm really, really sorry about the lighting today. And there's this one. This is Peace. It looks like these are just like cardboard cutouts. Like someone used a Cricut to just cut out a whole bunch of cardboard cutouts and then sold them. This one's all screwed up. Oh, that's because this one's been open. Okay. That one's Merry Christmas. This one's been opened. I don't know if anything's been taken out and used, but it's been opened. That one says Season's Greetings. That one's really sparkly. Adhesive borders. So these are probably like scrapbooking stuff. These are pumpkins, sparkly pumpkins with glitter. And some other autumn decor borders. These are cardboard stickers. So there's an alphabet that's really colorful and polka dots and stripes and very cute. And there's these that are just like summer words and phrases and tags. And then these are called Acrylic Words. They're adhesive words. These ones say Season's Greetings, Let It Snow, Merry Christmas, Peace, Winter Wonderland, Ho Ho Ho, Enjoy. So I don't know if I'm going to use these or if I'm going to find someone else to pass them off to. Okay, so for the temperature, we've talked about you need to decide on your method of your creation. Sorry, someone in the comments just asked, how do I not know? How do I not know what? Sorry, I didn't see your comment earlier. Okay, so we've talked about you need to know a method for creating your item, whether it's crochet, knit, quilt, whatever you're going to be doing. We've talked about you need to know what you're going to be making, whether it's going to be a blanket, a stuffed animal, a scarf. What are you going to make? You need to pick a period of time that you're going to be covering, and then you need to pick period of time for a specific location. So you need to pick a location that you're also covering. In the chat, I was asked, how do I not know what's in my unboxing? Because even though I got this from my sister, she kind of went over what was going to be in it. She put more stuff in it after talking to me and just kind of like gave me a vague idea of what's in it. And I don't fully remember what all that is. That is just a cushion. I'm guessing that this is one of the dividers of some sort. This bin is made for, because it's Fiskars, it's made to hold a bunch of paper crafting stuff and scrapbooking materials, which is why this is so big. This is meant to hold those like big 12 by 12 scrapbooking papers. But it's also just a really fancy bag. You can hold whatever the heck you want to put into it. So that's one of these. There's a whole bunch of dividers that Velcro into in here, where there's Velcro on the sides. So you can put stuff in it and it stays sectioned out. So those are pretty cool. Oh, that was not nearly as heavy. I was expecting it to be way heavier. Okay, so we've talked about location. Oh, and as for location, so you can pick wherever you want. I did this city that I'm currently living in. You could do the temperatures for your hometown. You could do temperatures for anywhere in the world that you want, or not in the world if you really wanted to, if you can find the data for it. You could also, if you're doing rather than a historical time frame, and instead you're doing right now, like starting from today will be the first row, and then tomorrow will be the next row. If you're doing an ongoing temperature item, you could do wherever you're at. I mean, you could still do it wherever you want, but I've seen people do it where they do the temperatures based on wherever they're at, wherever they're traveling, wherever they're going. Like, it's a little plastic file sleeve. I feel like the most common one is that people will do the temperatures. If they're doing an ongoing one, they'll do it for wherever they're at the moment. Which could be really, really fun if you are going to be traveling a lot in the coming year. And so you just wanted to pick where you're at. This is a bunch of like project bags. Yeah, these little zippers. Pocket right here. So that's what this is. By the way, if you have any questions about what I'm talking about or what I'm showing, you are welcome to ask, and I will do my best to answer any questions. Interesting. Sorry, the way the zipper is set up on this is just peculiar. So next we have talk about location. What do you want it depicted? In your temperature item, I'm just going to call it a temperature blanket, but it can, like I said, it can be literally anything. In your temperature blanket, what do you want to depict? Do you want to depict the average temperatures? Do you want to depict the high temperatures? Do you want to depict the low temperatures? Do you want to depict the high temperatures in the summer and the low temperatures in the winter? Do you want to be able to show what the weather was like that day? Was it raining? Was it snowing? Was it sunny? Do you want to show that? Do you want to do something special for, say, birthdays or a wedding or whatever, something special, a special day? You need to decide that, because that will affect your decisions on colors and pattern, because you'll need to pick a pattern and colors that will be able to best depict what it is that you want to do. Okay. So you need to decide what it is that you want to depict with the temperatures. For me, in order to fit the pattern that I wanted, which was Navajo Diamond, and the size of the blanket. So I literally copied this directly off of a blanket that my husband already has. And so I knew what the final size would be, and I knew it wasn't going to be too big. I knew it was going to be something that I could accomplish with the amount of energy that I knew I would have. So I was literally just taking that pattern and getting my data to fit what was here. So for me, I took the averages of every 2 days. So like if I were to I took the high from, say, yesterday, and the high from today, and the low from yesterday, and the low from today, added them all up and divided it by 4, and got the average temp. I could all just take the average temp from each day and average them. But I like math. So I didn't mind doing a bunch of math to be able to figure out my temperatures. So each of these rows actually depicts 2 days and the average between the 2 days. That's what I chose to do, because that's what fit my pattern, and that's what I really liked. Hi, buddy. He's sitting here laying right in front of me, looking pathetic and showing his belly, going, please, please pet me. So I'm petting him, even though he thinks that I'm not and is still pawing at me. Hi, buddy. You're going to make people happy by showing them your face? The internet likes animals. They do. The internet likes animals. Hi, buddy. Hi. You going to be okay? Okay. Let's move on to colors. So you'll obviously need to know, what colors do you want to use in your temperature blanket? Do you want to do a rainbow? Do you want to do some sort of ombre? Do you want to pick your favorite colors? And how many colors do you want? Are you going to want metallic to depict something special, or some shiny yarn to be able to depict something special? So what colors do you want? And how many colors do you want? For me, I knew I wanted an ombre, or where your colors fade from one color into another. But I didn't know what colors. I knew I wanted a really soft yarn, and I knew I wanted an ombre. A very, very common one is to do a rainbow. And I knew I didn't want to do a rainbow because that's the common one. So I decided to do an ombre. And in order for me to pick, I actually just went to Hobby Lobby and I just looked at their yarns and picked a brand that had really soft yarn, and it had colors that I liked that were able to fade into each other and were able to do an ombre. Ugh. So I started looking around, and I ended up finding Yarn Bees Soft and Sleek. And so that's what these colors are, is that. And so I got the browns, the pinks, and the purples. Most of them. I think there was one or two of those 3 color ranges that I didn't get because they didn't quite fit the ombre very well. Yeah, so I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colors. So that's what I ended up with. Is I got 9 colors. So after you know what colors you're going to get, you know how many colors you're going to get, and you know where you're going to be getting your temperatures from, and you know what time period you're getting your temperatures from, you need to decide on a temperature range. The temperature range for something that's historic, you will obviously be able to get all the data already. It's already all there. So you'll want to gather as much information as you can to be able to fulfill what it is that you're wanting to depict. For me, it was those average temperatures for every 2 days. So I went through, hi buddy. I went through and I made a spreadsheet. And so I have, right here is the dates that I covered. This is the average temperature for those 2 dates. And then this is what row it is plus the color. So I gave each color a letter to distinguish between each of them. And so I then printed out my spreadsheet that had all my information on it. And this is basically my pattern, like what each row is going to be. Hi. Hi, buddy. You look at me so pathetic. Show you dog cam. There we go. Buddy. So you need to decide on your temperature range. Because I was basically able to know, because you're able to find all of the data already, once you have all of the information for your dates that you're wanting to cover, that will give you a temperature range. That temperature range then needs to be divided into sections based on how many colors you have. So my temperature range ended up going from 0 degrees Fahrenheit to 83 degrees Fahrenheit, which I thought it was going to be a lot hotter, but it wasn't. So 83 was the highest temperature that I ever got on my temperature blanket. And 0 was pretty close to the lowest that I ever got. Let's see here. So 5 degrees was the coldest I ever got. No, 3.5. 3.5 degrees was the coldest my average ever got. When I started my blanket, I didn't have the last couple of months, and so I wasn't sure on what the bottom end was going to be because I was during the winter. So the highest temperature I ever got was 83. The lowest was 3.5. And so that was my range, was between 3.5 and 83. And so I needed to divide that range into 9 sort of equal sections. So for me, I actually forgot a step. You have to decide what order your colors are going to go in. Hi, buddy. Hi. So you have to decide what order your colors are going to go in for the ombre or for the rainbow. On a lot of the crafting pages that I'm on Facebook, this is one of the hardest steps for people, is deciding what order to put their colors in. So ultimately, this is what I did. I found an order that I liked. Hi to you too. You need to go outside, don't you? Do you need to go outside? So this is what I eventually chose to do. Was brown was the coldest, and then light purple down here, it's almost a gray, was the warmest. And I was able to remember by putting it on this piece of cardboard. It's just a piece of Reese's Puffs box with holes punched into it, and then the temperature ranges written down for each of those. I had 9 colors, and I divided that, my temperature range of 3.5 to 83 by 9. And so then that left me with a temperature that corresponded with each color. So this is the core thing that you need to be able to know how to make a temperature blanket. Is you need to have a color corresponding with a temperature or a temperature range. Now you can have as many colors as you want. It does not matter. You can have as many as you want. I've seen people who do almost 100 colors, like 1 color per degree. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. Whatever makes you happy. I didn't know how many colors I was going to end up with till I went to the craft store. And I found these 9 colors that worked for me. I thought I was going to have something like 10 or 6 or I didn't know. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh. Those stickers from earlier, I put them on top of Winston's toy on accident. And so he was pawing at my stickers because he wanted the toy underneath. Hi, buddy. So we have our range. Now we need to know if you're doing an ongoing temperature blanket, so like today's your first day, tomorrow's gonna be your second day, the day after is gonna be the third day. If you're gonna be doing an ongoing temperature blanket, you're gonna want to pick a temperature range that makes sense for where you're at. If you're up in northern Canada, that's going to be a very different temperature blanket to if you live in Hawaii. It's not going to be a very different temperature blanket. It's going to be a very different temperature range. So you need to pick a range that makes sense for where you live or wherever it is that you are depicting the temperatures for. And then just divide that by your colors. If you're doing an ongoing temperature blanket, it is possible that by the end of your blanket, you will not have used any of the colors in the top or bottom of your range. That is always possible. Because I didn't know what my bottom range was when I first started, because the end of my temperature blanket, I didn't have the temperatures for yet because they hadn't happened yet. I didn't know what my lowest temperature was going to be. And I actually almost didn't use my bottom range color, this brown. And then we had a really, really cold snap in February. So the only section where that coldest one is right here at the end. This dark stripe, that's it. That's my lowest temperature. So you may or may not use all your colors depending upon what range you pick and how many colors you have. So you've got your colors, you've got your temperature ranges, you know where you're doing, where you are getting data for and for what time periods. Now you need a pattern. What pattern are you going to be doing? Now this is going to be different depending upon what you are creating, whether it's a plushie or a blanket or a scarf or whatever. Or if you are crocheting, knitting, quilting, whatever you wanted to do. It's going to be a little bit different. The most common is crocheting. At least the most common that I have seen is crocheting. Hi, buddy. So you needed to decide on a pattern. I went with Navajo Diamond because that I was imitating a blanket that my husband already has. This pattern is very common, though not necessarily in the way that I did it. Navajo Diamond is extremely versatile, where it's literally just single crochet in the back loop and then a double crochet in the front loop of 2 rows down, wherever you want to put it. So it's very versatile. You can do just about anything with it to create a different texture on each side of the blanket. Other common ones are granny squares and moss stitch, which my understanding of moss stitch is that it is, I'm not even going to try to explain it, but you can go ahead and look it up. But moss stitch is very, very common, probably because it creates narrower rows so it doesn't end up as long. I think that's why it's so common. It also creates a really fun texture, but I've never done moss stitch. I just know it's very, very common. But then corner to corner blankets, which this blanket that I've been making, this was on my live stream last week. This is a corner to corner blanket where it's got this really cool texture. If you wanted to do this, the rows end up in a diagonal, or at least that's what you're working is in a diagonal. And a lot of the time when people do a corner to corner, they, instead of doing a row for each day, they do like 15 squares per day. So a corner to corner blanket, you're making a series of squares. So that right there, that's a square. And you're making them in a diagonal across the blanket. So that's fairly common. This is the corner to corner. For granny squares and various other segmented patterns where you work in like a round or whatever, floral patterns, etc., are pretty common. But when you're doing it, you see how this has 3 different colors? You have a red, an orange, and a blue. A lot of times when people do these, they're able to take each row and depict something different. So if you're wanting to depict special days, plus the highs, plus the lows, this is a really good pattern for you, where the center could be what kind of special day it is. The second layer could be what the lows are. The third layer could be the high for the day, or whatever order or iteration you want to do. But granny squares and other segments where you end up with a lot of little pieces like this that you then connect together, these are really, really good if you want to show multiple bits of data, like what I talked about earlier with whether you want to show the weather, special days, highs, lows, or averages. This style of doing granny square style segments is really, really good for depicting all that. Sorry, I got distracted by the dog here. Hi, buddy. This one is just an accordion folder. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a bottom. Oh, it has a bottom, but the files are just segmented. It's not pockets. They're not closed pockets. So I'm not sure what I would use this for. I really like using ones that have... How did this stay in without being a mess? I'm confused. I really like ones that have like closed pockets, because then I can put small things for a project into them. Okay, where am I? I think I've just about covered everything. This year, if you are doing an ongoing temperature blanket, if you're doing an ongoing temperature blanket where you don't know what the next color is going to be, you need to locate a reliable source of data, whether it's a website or a news channel or the weather channel, something that you can always rely on to be able to provide the information that you need. One of the most frustrating things for many, many people when they are making a temperature blanket is that they were using one website, or they suddenly realized that they can't use the website that they thought they were going to use, or they don't have access to it. And suddenly they can't finish their pattern because they don't have any information. So you need to make sure that you find a reliable source of data before you get started. I just found this little dude in the bottom of the box. I don't remember what these guys are called, but I just found him. I wonder if he belongs to my little sister. I already found these in the box. Found a little magnetic train and a scientific calculator in the box. I found the other two earlier when I was getting set up, and I did text my sister about them, and those are hers. I guess her kids threw them in there at some point. All right. If there are any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, either about what I've been unboxing, or I'm not done unboxing, by the way, but I am done talking about the temperature blanket because I've covered everything. But if you have any questions, either right now while I'm live, or if you're watching this in the future, hello. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this in the future, feel free to put them in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to you with an answer to your question. So let's see what's in these side pockets. So it has those so it doesn't flop all the way open. It has big pockets. It has 6 acrylic like Velcro pockets. And these are the one thing that I asked my sister for, actually. These ones are not them. These are called colozzle. These are used, you get a special knife that'll twist. And this was the pre-Cricut way to be able to cut out fun letters. And this is just a whole bunch of alphabets. Interesting. Interesting. And these are just alphabet. There's no numbers to them. Which again is interesting. So there's colozzle. Would you guys like me to put together some sort of summary of how to start a temperature blanket? And kind of summarize everything I've gone over? Another Velcro piece. This is a rain cover. Okay, it says Fiskars. That's sticky. This covers the bag. Because this bag is meant for like going to craft fairs and such. So it's meant for being taken out and traveling with. Like it's set up like a suitcase. By the way, the train and the calculator were shoved down into this. And this is just an open thing all the way down to the bottom. And so I could see them poking out of the bottom down here. Sorry. So that's where they were. All right, one more pocket. If I can find the zipper. All right, looks like this has the same. So this has smaller acrylic pockets than what the other side had. And it has, so these are small, the other ones were large, these ones are medium. There's 8 of the mediums, 9 of the smalls, and there was 6 of the larges. And then here's more colossal. So they're basically just acrylic sheets with shapes cut into them. And then you use a special knife and you go into, you are basically able to outline it. But if you're using the knife, then you're cutting it out, just like with Cricut. Interesting. This has a protective coating on it that is coming off. Please remove plastic cover sheet prior to using template. Okay. So I guess any of them that have a protective cover have never actually been used before. So I originally asked my little sister for the colossal because some of the stuff I'm getting ready for creating new items for my Etsy shop, I'm wanting a way to be able to cut out circles really easily. And so there's a circle. This is like the only one in here that I'm actually really going to use. But then I've got a square. You can't really see that. Got a square, a star, an oval. There are 2 of these ovals. They're the same size. These are butterflies / like picket fence. And then rub-on lettering. So a bunch of rub-on lettering, which I have no idea how to use this and how it is different from stickers, but an entire sticker sheet of just Washington State stickers, an entire sticker sheet of Utah stickers, an entire sheet of New York stickers, and then some glittery alphabet stickers, which I'm actually amazed that she gave these to me because she's told me that she kept all of the alphabet stickers. So I don't know why she left this with, but yeah, so that is the contents of this, which now my goal is to make use of this container. This thing is huge. And I have crafts spread all over the place. And I'm hoping that this will be able to help me keep things organized. But I don't know. It's always hard trying to implement a new organization system. Or when you're adding lots of a new tool to your craft supplies, it's hard to know how to organize things. And in the last couple of years, I've been acquiring so many craft supplies that I don't really know how to organize it. When my husband and I got married, I had craft supplies, just not very many. And I never had enough space to really organize them super well. And I've basically exploded my crafting material stash. And so my crafting space is a bit of a mess because I don't know how to organize it. So that's my current struggle with all my craft supplies. I have, along with acquiring many new craft supplies like this, I recently got a whole bunch of stuff off Facebook Marketplace, some secondhand, tons and tons of yarn and crochet hooks. I've got a bunch of secondhand crochet hooks and a few other materials that I have no use for. So I'm thinking that I'm probably going to be selling them or doing giveaways. I will be focusing on subscribers and followers of my various social medias, such as here on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram, and possibly doing giveaways with you guys first before I go somewhere else to try and sell or give away my surplus items. I know a lot of crafters like to have multiples of things and like to have extras of things, but if it's something that's extra that I already have plenty of, or is redundant, or I'm just never going to use it. Like I have several patterns that I've ended up with that are cute or whatever, but I'm never going to make them. And so I'm thinking about getting rid of those. And I just don't like holding on to the excess stuff. I mean, I already have so much stuff that why hold on to the extra stuff? So I will let you guys know what my plan is with all that. That information will end up on Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, which is both of those are under the name Old School and Eclectic, which is the exact same as my Etsy page, which is Old School and Eclectic. I chose Old School and Eclectic Crafts here on YouTube because I wanted it to be a little more descriptive of what it is that I'm doing. Trying to decide if there was anything else I wanted to talk to you guys about today. There aren't any questions in the chat, so I think that's everything. Again, I'm really sorry about the lighting today. Hopefully next week I will have my studio set up so that I can have better lighting and a better background, and just things will look nicer, I hope. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting my Etsy shop and my various social media pages. Sorry, I just noticed that on my entertainment center, there's a bunch of dust. I haven't dusted recently, but there are little baby fingerprints. I had some nieces and nephews over a few days ago, which is how I got this. My sister had to bring this to me, and so her children were here, and one of them is a little infant who's just starting to move around and to crawl onto things, pulling themselves up. And they were doing that on the entertainment center. And now there's little baby fingerprints, and it's really cute and funny to me. I've been thinking about this a lot the last week since I did my last live stream, and so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about it. And the subject is why I got onto YouTube. So I'm here on YouTube because I wanted to be able to reach a larger audience, but also ultimately YouTube can eventually provide a second or an extra income. The only problem is that you have to reach certain criteria before you can actually make any money. I don't know how many people are really aware of this. I was vaguely aware, but I didn't know the details. But the first benchmark, specifically for live streaming, is that you have to have 50 subscribers before you can stream mobily. So before I can live stream with my phone, I must have at least 50 subscribers. Until then, I have to use my computer, which is why the setup is always going to be a little bit funky, at least for these first live streams, until I get enough subscribers to be able to allow me to live stream with my phone, which will give me much better video quality. It'll give me more versatility. It'll provide more opportunities for live streams. But you need 50 subscribers for that. Before you can become monetized, you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 viewing hours. So your content has to have been watched for a total of more than 4,000 hours. And you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, which right now feels like a huge, insurmountable goal. I hope one day to reach it. It would be really nice to be able to reach the point where I can become monetized. Because honestly, my Etsy shop doesn't make very much money. It just doesn't. Just a couple days ago, I got my first sale in almost 2 months. Etsy is not just an easy way to be able to make money. It can be really hard. And it's even harder when I had to discontinue my most popular and most expensive item. Well, not most expensive. My most popular item that was becoming my most expensive, because I realized that it took a lot longer to make than I thought it did. So I had to discontinue my most popular item, which was my plushie dice, because I was burning out and it was starting to affect my whole life. It was taking over. It was affecting my relationship with my husband. It was just everything. The house was falling apart because I was so focused on just trying to keep up with orders. And it was really, really popular, which was great. But my life was falling apart. So I had to discontinue my plushie dice. You'll still see me post about making plushie dice. But that's because I'm still working on one last order, which is almost done. I finished the embroidery last week, and now I just needed to sew them together and stuff them. That's it. I'm almost done. The person who bought it has been very, very kind and is very aware of the fact that I was burning out. But they knew that I was discontinuing them, and so they wanted to get one before I completely discontinued them. And so they bought one last minute, which I really, really appreciated. And they've been very kind in letting me know that I don't need to burn myself out even more by working on it beyond my ability. And so I've been slowly working on it. I'm confident I'll still get it out by the ship by date, but they've been very kind to me. very compassionate with my burnout, because burnout's no fun, and it really can really hinder your ability to be happy and enjoy life and enjoy what you're doing. So I hope you guys will all check out my Etsy shop and check out my Instagram page, where I've been sharing my summer lace series, which is all my tatted lace. I would love if you went and took a look at all that and let me know what you like about it. I would also love it if you put it into the chat or in the comments of any of my posts, anything about what you would like to see or questions that you have. I really like being able to share what knowledge I have, which one of the great ways to be able to learn is to be able to teach. And so I would love to have more opportunities to be able to teach. If you are local here in St. Louis, I do mending and some basic tailoring. So if you need something fixed, some clothes or just about any textile item, I can generally fix it. Otherwise, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And hopefully I will see you again next week at the same time, same place. And this is Elizabeth, and I will see you next week. Bye.